So I wasn't going to talk about this. Cycling News picked up the story of me being $250,000 in health debt, and then other media picked it up, and soon I was in an ad with Bernie Sanders promoting it. So I might as well explain. And the thing is, it's personal and it's kind of embarrassing, but maybe it helps if I tell you guys about it here, and it'll answer all the questions I've been getting. Now, if you follow me, you know about my crash. I was training, trying to qualify for the Olympics, so I was racing on a cycling velodrome track, and I went down and broke all my ribs on this side, my collarbone, my scapula, my shoulder blade back there, and I had a collapsed lung. So I was taken in an ambulance to the nearest hospital, which is what they better do when you got a collapsed lung. Now, at that hospital, they fixed my collarbone right away. They put me on all kinds of great painkiller drugs. I kind of sat there for a few days while they tried to find a surgeon who could fix my scapula, my shoulder blade. They weren't able to find anybody. It was 3 days of they would schedule it, and then the surgeon that I had scheduled would see the x-ray and be like, oh, I can't fix that. That's too bad of a break. So I was there for a while, and finally I found a doctor at a different hospital who said he could fix it. So we went to New York for that. It was explained to me at the time that hospital was going to be out of network, which meant that my insurance wouldn't automatically cover it. There's also extenuating circumstances, they said, where I could apply later and kind of appeal that so they could cover it when it was, and if there's any extenuating circumstances, it's the amount of pain that I was in and how they were unable to find anyone else to fix it. There was no one outside of Los Angeles, and I was in Pennsylvania at the time. And I'll tell you, I did have insurance. I do have insurance. When I was racing professionally for a few years, I didn't have insurance. I couldn't afford it. The UCI, the cycling governing body, requires you to have insurance. So I would sign up and then show them a little card, and then I would cancel it immediately because I couldn't pay those bills. But now I'm a grown-up. I recognize I do a high-risk activity, and I got what I thought was good health insurance. I signed up for Covered California, gave lots of options. I picked one from HealthNet. I figure, HealthNet, they used to sponsor a cycling team. So let's go with that one. You know, there's all kinds. There's HMOs, which I thought was bad. There's PPOs, and then there's EPO, which I can't do the EPO one. So I think I went with the PPO. But I'm looking through all the options, and I'm an educated, kind of intelligent person who maybe rides a bike too much, but I made the decision of picking the insurance that seemed the best for me. The first bill that showed up was for $10,000, and I was like, ouch, that's a lot of money, but I can scrape together $10,000. I can handle that. And then the next day, more bills showed up, adding up to $96,000. I was like, well, okay, now I can't pay any of this, you guys, I'm sorry. Now we gotta figure something out. And then I was arguing with the insurance and with all kinds of stuff about that. I was writing a lot of letters. And then another bill shows up from the first hospital, which that hospital I was brought to unconscious, and it was definitely an emergency situation. I was in an ambulance, and that wasn't covered either for reasons that still aren't clear to me. And that bill was $150,000. So now that's this guy. And it's funny because they just send you the bill, and then it's like you can check if you want to pay what credit card you want to put it on. Like, I'll just throw that on my Discover, you know? I was sure that the first hospital would be covered, the emergency situation. I was so sure that I laid in the hospital bed and I said, would you guys do a GoFundMe? Well, don't bother because I don't need it. Give it to No Kid Hungry instead. Give it to these kids who need it more than I do. That kind of bit me in the butt. But I stand by it. And right now, if you want to help and support me, don't help and support me. There's people who need it more. The link's down there. That's always available for you. Another question I keep getting is, what about USA Cycling and their insurance? So when you sign up for a cycling event, the events that I put on, you pay a fee, and part of that is insurance for disaster during an event. Now that maxes out at $25,000. That is a disaster, but I guess my disaster is worse than most. And so far I haven't been able to sort that out with them either. Comments said that I should have a secondary insurance for disaster or whatever. And man, you know what? F you, don't blame me for this. Like, how many insurances am I supposed to have? The event insurance, my health insurance, like $500 is enough per month to deal with this, and somebody should pay something. This shouldn't all be on me. And I kind of think that if you like having choice in your coverage, if you think that your medical insurance is the right one, if you think you've really killed it, that's only because you haven't had to experience it. Because the thing is, they're all incentivized to screw you over and not pay. They're all businesses. They want to pay the least and get the most out of it. There's also folks that say that the US has the best medical system, as evidenced by the celebrities and billionaires who come here all over the world to get treated. Now granted, if you are one of those people who can just drop $250,000 on a surgery or whatever, the US probably is the best system. But the people commenting that on my Instagram are not billionaires, so stop it. Just shut up with that argument. Don't act like that. You'd be in the same boat as me if you had an accident, and I guess that's my point here. Something else I've learned, it's not just the health insurance that's kind of in on it. The hospitals are part of it too. And the thing is, I want to pay the doctors who took care of me. Like, I want them to be compensated, I want them to be happy. They deserve it, they fixed me up real nice. The hospital gives these crazy sticker prices to people like you and me, and then the health insurance negotiates that down. So the hospital in New York, well, they don't want to deal with insurance because insurance, gets a discount, so they want to go right after the patient. So what happened in my case was I go and apply to HealthNet. I say, hey, this was an emergency situation, you should cover it. They call the hospital in New York, and the New York hospital says, oh, it was outpatient, it was voluntary, it was neither of those things. I was there for 2 nights, and every doctor who saw it said I need it. That's not voluntary. And HealthNet is like, oh cool, it was outpatient, that's not our problem. So everyone just decides to go after the patient in this case, who's getting impatient at this point. I get bills in the mail. The health industry seems to hate trees and paper, and they just send all kinds of, I just get the same 10 bills from different departments every week. I get a bunch of phone calls every day. I gotta hit that red button a lot. And I wait, and I call USA Cycling, says that they'll help. The state of California has an appeals process. So first you get denied by your insurer, and then you write letters to appeal that, and then the state of California has an appeals process, and then that gets denied. And where it goes from there, I don't know. Maybe I have to go bankrupt, maybe I get on a horrible payment plan for the rest of my life. We'll figure it out. Or maybe we won't. I don't know, maybe they'll just leave me alone someday. So where do we go from here? I'm not sure. I guess I'll keep you posted. There's more letters to write, there's more time to wait on hold. And I'm not sure what the takeaway should be for you other than, I guess, beware. If you live in a country where this isn't a problem, appreciate that. If you live in the US, understand that your insurance might not do what you think it does. You should look up wherever you live, wherever you go, try and look up in-network options. Don't go to a doctor unless you're sure it'll be covered first. You can call your health insurance to find out that they'll recommend the doctor. If you're taken there unconscious, you just gotta cross your fingers and unfortunately, I think, be prepared to fight or complain about it on YouTube. For now, I'm just gonna keep collecting these funny bills. I'll keep you posted on what happens. I have to fight. So I hope you don't have any accidents. That's the best advice, is to keep it upright on the old bicycle, Don't get any car accidents. Be real careful, you guys. Just slow down and relax a little bit. Remember, I can handle myself, at least I'm pretty sure. Lots of people need more help than me, so check the link in the profile. Donate to No Kid Hungry. It's a good cause, and we'll all feel better for it. See ya.